So let me give you the quick pitch about just kind of NFTs in general and why I love them so much and where I think it's going and why I chose to get involved in a
Okay.
full-time capacity and even what that means, right? Like what
Yeah.
does it mean to be in NFTs full-time? So you can always do the classic buying and selling, and that's what I've been doing for a while. I'll buy into these projects. Sometimes they go way up in value, and I'll sell. And I'll buy into other projects. But the reason I got into NFTs outside of Top Shot is the decentralization of it. And
Yep.
so
Okay.
one of the things that really has been on my mind for years and years and years and years was like the centralization of banking, right? Federal Reserve and all that, like it was a big thing for me. Ron Paul supporter, that's just where I came from, and I was always really big on the people having power, and so decentralization of this takes a lot of the gatekeeping away from traditional industries like Hollywood, for example. Besides all the crazy stuff going on. The gatekeeping in those industries and the art industries that someone from the street can't create a painting and sell it at like Sotheby's for $10 million, right? It's just not going to happen. You need all kinds of credit and clout. But the other day, a 12-year-old came up with a
Or
project and sold over $1 million worth of their NFTs. And so the ability for someone who just has talent, no matter what social class they're in, no matter what parts of the world they live in, all you really need is an internet connection. And you can create this world and this life for yourself. And so I started getting into it for that aspect of it. And I was never really a big art fan, but I love that my money can support someone who, may be living on the other side of the world, working out of their barn, building chairs and slaving away over manual work in their hands and getting blisters for the whole lives and making one wooden chair at a time. But now they can draw a piece of art of that chair or show a video of them building that chair and sell that for tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars, or just start building slowly and make a life out of that. And so you're giving a lot of options to people who wouldn't normally have them. And so for someone like myself, I didn't have a lot of education or schooling. I did end up going to school for web development and programming, but I fought my whole life to get to where I am. I paid for all my own stuff, paid for my schooling, paid for my car. Since I was young, I was really holding my own. And so
nice.
I really want people to have that experience of being able to create, and
Yeah.
this gives them that possibility. And
That's
so,
the New Yorker in you.
yeah,
I lived in New York for 12 years, man. I know New Yorkers, man. That they work.
yeah, bro, I grind. I work hard. I've always had two or three jobs, always been really going hard. And I've had my own business, I've had employees, and I really like to look out for other people. And one of the things that I've been able to do is through investing in other people's art and the value, blowing up and being able to have all this, income coming in from buying and selling stuff and being able to give back to up and coming artists that may not have a platform or have a couple hundred followers on Twitter and no one knows about, but their art is amazing. So it's just opportunity. And so what people choose to do with that opportunity is up to them, but some choose to do one of one pieces of art and just put that out. Some people want to spend years and make big platforms of gaming. Some want to do marketplaces. Some want to make real estate contracts. Some want to do
Okay.
music albums. It really just whatever people want to do, they can do through these things called smart contracts. So smart contracts is the foundation of NFTs, and the way that it works is you can code in whatever you want to show up on these NFTs or whatever you want it to do. So just as a quick example, you can make these projects that make NFTs and spit out a bunch of random pieces of art, but you can code in that every time one of those is purchased, 5% goes off to a charity wallet. So right away, before you even touch it, it never even comes to your wallet. It gets siphoned out right away, and you coded that in. So everything that you can do, that you can think of in your brain, you can code into these contracts. And if you want to put pictures, or you want to put real estate deeds, or you want to put any kind of thing that you could think of, just be
So
creative and do it.
hold
And
on.
that's
All right. So that's optimistic though. So like now on the the negative side of it, what's stopping people from adding viruses or like you said it goes to charity, 5% goes to charity. All right, well, what about every time something sells, it goes to my own wallet or something like that, or like they're.
Yep.
I mean,
Well,
that's
that
part of it, right? Can you? But it's.
absolutely.
Can you see it? Is it free code? Like we can see all of the things that are on it, or is it like hidden and you don't know?
Well, so a lot of it right now is kind of wild, wild west. There's and trust. I don't want SEC coming in and regulating the hell out of everybody, but
Right.
there's always going to be people trying to scam, no matter what you're in life. And so, for instance,
Yeah.
if you create a collection as an artist, you want to mint your song that your lead and intro, and
Right.
and either give it away to your followers or sell it to people as a one-on-one, a one of one limited edition, or make 1,000 copies and give them away, or whatever you want to do with it. You can do that. Someone can make a copy of that and try and sell it, and people probably will buy it if they're not experienced enough, right?
Okay.
But you have some centralized marketplaces that'll take it down if you report them. They'll verify different collections, and so there's ways that people are trying to figure it out. But yeah, it's very early. A lot of the contracts are public and verified and easily readable. Not all of them are. So a lot of it is you have to do your own research and
Hmm.
look at who are the people involved. There's always going to be scams.
Yeah.
People are going to get made off with stocks or
Yeah.
investments, whatever it is. So can you protect yourselves in certain ways? Yes, you can be careful and have best practices, and like have a hardware wallet so you don't keep your money connected to the internet. I one of mine right now, I'll show you. This is where I keep the majority of my money, in something like this. It's like a little USB called Ledger,
Yeah.
and this is called a hardware wallet. So
Yeah.
it's cold storage. So
Well, don't lose that.
no, it's not connected to the internet. You have to have passwords and seed phrases, and it could self-destruct if someone gets it and types in the wrong password too many times. So yeah,
Right.
you want to be careful with it. You want to know your codes and everything, but there's protections, things you can do to protect yourself. But yes, people are always going to be looking to scam whatever you're doing in life. But that's why with blockchain, everything's verifiable. So you want to make sure that you're looking at the right account, you're looking at the right contract, and people will understand how to do this over time. But you're not going to jump in day one and understand everything that there is about it. So it's really a learning experience. And one of the coolest things is it's redefining what it is to have a career. And so a lot of people are jumping from well-established careers and going into art or going into platforms and gaming. Um, a lot of the platforms do things like, for every digital tree we sell, we're planting a real life tree, things like that.
Okay.
The Bored Apes, they airdropped, which means they gave a bunch out for free of these digital dogs that they made. And
Okay.
every single secondary sale that is made from those dogs, I think it's 5% or 2.5%, but a few percentage of that goes directly to no-kill animal shelters. So they get none of the proceeds of that. It just goes automatically to them. And so there's a lot of people who are doing things for the right reasons. There's a lot of people who aren't, and you're gonna have to figure it out. There's gonna be a lot of people with Twitter followers saying, "Hey, buy this thing," that's
Yeah.
probably getting paid behind closed doors that you don't know about. So be careful. There's a wild, wild west. There's a lot of risk. There's a lot of reward. We're very early, but same thing with the internet back in the day. And
Yeah.
there are bubbles forming for sure, and there are going to be people left holding certain bags in certain places. But I always try to inform as much as I can. And me being involved in NFTs, so everyone's clear, is not just buying and selling these digital assets, which is a big part of it. But I also consult projects, I advise, I build communities, I set up Discord servers and bring people to it to get them established for projects. So there's a lot more that I do in
Yeah.
addition to just the buying and selling. So when people hear me saying that I'm full time, I also have a steady income stream that I've set up through different avenues in this environment. So it's not just buying and selling and keeping those profits, because those are also short-term financial transactions, similar to stocks and capital gains. So you
Yeah.
have to be careful with taxes. You have to be careful with fees. But yeah, like my full-time employment is based around being very involved, doing a lot of deep research, and advising companies on how to proceed within the community, within their blockchain, within their smart contracts.